The desert night was cold, but Joseph felt warm with excitement. He was 17, full of life, and the stars above him were glimmering like tiny promises. At home his brothers slept uneasily, but Joseph lay awake, thinking about the dream he had just seen. In the dream, 11 sheaves of grain bowed down to his dot. It felt so real, too real. At dawn, Joseph couldn't keep it to himself. "Brothers," he said eagerly, "listen to the dream I had." But before he could finish, Levi scoffed. "Here we go again." Reuben frowned. "Are you saying we will bow to you?" Their eyes hardened like stones. Joseph swallowed. He didn't mean to provoke them, but destiny was already moving faster than he could control. Jacob loved Joseph more than any of his sons, and everyone knew it. When Joseph received a beautifully woven coat of many colors, silk reds, royal blues, gold threads, the brothers' resentment hardened into something dangerous. One morning, Jacob sent Joseph to check on them in the fields near Dothan. "Find out how your brothers are doing," he said. Joseph, unaware of the storm brewing, set out with a smile. But when his brothers saw him approaching, shimmering coat catching the sunlight like a beacon, their anger ignited. "There he is," Simeon hissed. "The dreamer, and then Judah," voice low and dark. "Let's kill him." Joseph reached them, expecting brotherhood. He found cold stares instead. Before he could speak, hands grabbed him. His colorful coat was ripped away. Dust filled his mouth as he gasped, "Why are you doing this?" But no one answered. They dragged him to an old, empty cistern and threw him in. The fall knocked the wind from his body. Above, their silhouettes watched him like vultures. Night came. The stars that once felt like promises now looked like distant, unreachable lights. Joseph cried for help until his voice broke. No one came. The next morning, Joseph heard voices above the pit. His brothers were arguing again. Then he heard Judah's voice. "Look, Ishmaelite traitors. Why kill him? Let's sell him." The rope dropped suddenly. Joseph grabbed it, desperate to escape this nightmare only to be dragged into another. Coins exchanged hands. His brothers turned their backs. "Please," Joseph cried. "Reuben, Judah, anyone." But the caravan pulled him away, his wrists bound, dust rising behind him as his home disappeared. The sky offered no comfort. The future felt like a dark tunnel with no end. Egypt was unlike anything Joseph had ever seen. Towering statues, roaring crowds, soldiers everywhere. Sold again, he ended up in the house of Potiphar, a powerful captain of Pharaoh's guard. There the tide began to turn. Joseph worked with precision and honesty, and everything he touched succeeded. Potiphar noticed. "You are different," he said. "From now on, you are in charge of my entire household." Joseph earned respect. Servants looked to him for leadership. He walked with quiet confidence until danger slipped into the halls in the form of Potiphar's wife. She watched him with hungry eyes. "Joseph," she whispered one day when they were alone, "come lie with me." He stepped back as if the air had turned poison. "My master trusts me. I cannot betray him or God." But she persisted day after day, her voice getting sharper as he continued to refuse. Then came the moment that changed everything. A quiet afternoon. No servants around. She grabbed his cloak. "Stay with me." Joseph tore himself away, leaving the cloak in her hands as he fled. Her scream echoed through the house like a death sentence. "Joseph tried to attack me," she cried when Potiphar returned. Potiphar's face darkened like a storm. Without trial, without questions, Joseph was dragged to prison. Darkness swallowed him again. The prison was cold, damp, and merciless. Yet Joseph, broken but not defeated, kept serving faithfully. The warden noticed. "Joseph," he said, "I trust you. You will oversee the other prisoners." One night 2 new prisoners arrived, Pharaoh's chief cupbearer and chief baker. Each looked troubled. "We had dreams," the cupbearer said, "strange dreams. But no one can interpret them." Joseph's voice was calm. "Interpretations belong to God. Tell me your dreams." The cupbearer described a vine with 3 branches that blossomed and bore grapes instantly. Joseph listened, then said gently, "In 3 days, Pharaoh will restore you." Hope lit the cupbearer's eyes. The baker anxiously told his dream 3 baskets on his head, birds eating from them. Joseph hesitated. "In 3 days, Pharaoh will execute you." 3 days later, everything happened exactly as Joseph said. Before the cupbearer left, Joseph pleaded, "Remember me. Speak to Pharaoh for me." But as the cupbearer returned to freedom, he forgot Joseph entirely. 2 long years passed. One night, Egypt trembled with whispers. Pharaoh had awakened screaming from a nightmare, then another. 7 fat cows devoured by 7 gaunt ones. 7 full heads of grain swallowed by 7 scorched ones. None of his magicians or wise men could explain them. Then the cupbearer froze. "Pharaoh, I know someone who can interpret dreams." Joseph was rushed out of prison, shaved, bathed, and dressed in white linen. He stood before the most powerful man in the world. Pharaoh leaned forward. "I've heard you can interpret dreams." Joseph shook his head. "I cannot, but God can, and he will reveal what they mean." Pharaoh told him both dreams. The room grew silent. Joseph's voice cut through the tension. "The dreams are one. Egypt will have 7 years of abundance, followed by 7 years of famine so severe that all memory of plenty will vanish." A chill swept through the court. "Choose a wise man," Joseph continued, "to store grain during the good years. It is the only way to survive what is coming." Pharaoh rose to his feet. "Joseph, no one is wiser than you. You shall rule under me. Only I will be greater." In one moment, Joseph went from prisoner to prime minister. Destiny had finally revealed its purpose. Years passed. Joseph managed Egypt wisely. As famine spread across the world, one day familiar faces appeared among the starving crowds, his brothers. They bowed before him, not knowing he was Joseph. The moment struck him like lightning. The dream. The sheaves bowing. His heart pounded with old wounds and fresh emotion. He tested them, accused them of spying, demanded Benjamin be brought, held Simeon as hostage. Every step was filled with tension, guilt, and fear. Finally, when all the brothers stood before him trembling, Joseph couldn't hold back any more. Tears streamed down his face. "I am Joseph," he said, silence, shock, fear. "Do not be afraid," he said gently. "You meant evil against me, but God meant it for good." The brothers embraced him, trembling, crying, forgiven. And Joseph, once thrown into a pit, now had authority to rescue the very ones who betrayed him. Joseph brought his entire family to Egypt, saving them from famine. He lived to see generations of children and grandchildren. The dreamer had become a leader, a survivor, and a forgiver. His journey, woven with betrayal, darkness, and unexpected twists, shone brightly with one truth. Even in the deepest shadows, God was writing a story of redemption.